Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining me this evening for another fantastic race over in Bahrain. It'll be a short qualification followed by a 29 lap race. But of course, recently we have heard some sad news about a UFRL member who was incredibly highly thought of by everyone here in the UFRL family. That is Poop Cannon 22, who sadly passed away last week. As hopefully you've all read the announcements. As a matter of respect to Poop Cannon, UFRL League and family wish to observe a 2-minute silence by having no cars on track. And then when the clock strikes 16 minutes, we will all roll around on an outlap behind UFRL Mr. P, followed by UFRL Beaver. Of course, as Poop Cannon drove the Mercedes the last time he raced with the UFRL, who will be leading the train of cars in a wavy motion. People with engine penalties can retire after that, and then qualifying shall then start as normal. Of course, if you have any questions, by all means, please plonk them in the chat now so that I can go through it once again. But of course, our condolences and our sympathies with the family of Poop Cannon 22. And of course, please be respectful of the 2-minute silence at the beginning. I shall also be stepping away from the microphone for that period as well. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for observing that wonderful 2 minute silence for what is surely a wonderful, wonderful person and human being. That was for Poop Cannon 22. Of course, we will now see, as shown in the announcements, a lovely parade leading the way by Poop Cannon's good friend, UFRL, Mr. Poem. What an absolutely marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. What a wonderful, wonderful idea, wonderful show. For a person who can be truly described as a great friend to the UFRL League. As we go down, we can see all the tributes being shown by all the drivers. It is an absolute spectacle and absolutely fantastic to see. And as now all cars enter into the pit lane. And that, of course, won't be the end of the tribute to the poop cannon. The tribute will not only be this, but it will also be the glorious racing that I'm sure we will see over the next couple of hours. There will also be tributes further on during Tier 2 and Tier 3 as well. Just on a personal note, I just want to say that I think that was absolutely fantastic by everyone here this evening. A real wonderful tribute. And I'm sure not only will Poop Cannon's family agree with this, but I'm sure as well that the poems as well will also be absolutely really happy with everyone's response this evening in what is a wonderful tribute to a wonderful human being. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to that, and hopefully it was everything you expected it to be. King of the King saying, well done guys, that was amazing to watch, and yeah, it certainly was a real fantastic tribute. So as you can see then, ladies and gentlemen, UFRL, Mr. Poem and Deck have retired in the session. They are most likely serving engine bans. Looks as if most people are already on their outlap, which is great to see. I will try and keep up with it as much as possible. I do apologise if there's any background noise. That would be my son crying in the background, but hopefully he'll go to sleep reasonably soon. Whilst I'm waiting for people to start their flying laps, I will have a quick look at the Tier 1 driver standings. I appreciate there's only one race that's been held, and that was in USA. So at the moment, Deck is leading the way, but tonight is taking that engine penalty. He will start at the back of the grid. Then followed by Pesci, Bad Boy, Ivy in the Mercedes, Warrener, UFRO Mr. Poem, Silky Stevens, UFRL Mercs, Gandalf in the Racing Bulls, Viking Fox in the Racing Bulls. Pretty sure both of them were in Tier 2 last season, battling out for the championship. I can't remember exactly who won the championship last year, but I don't think it was one of them. Then we have UFRL Parker, Black Panther, and then Rusted Bolt. Guessing we've got a few healers this evening. Of course, as I say, if anyone has any questions, I'm on the stream. I've got the chat to the side of me. If anyone has any questions, by all means, I will do my very best to answer them. Never commentated on Tier 1 before, so this is all a little bit different for me. A few drivers that I've never seen race, so apologies. Not 100% up to date with those drivers. We are in Q1 currently then. Nobody is yet to set a flying lap. I'm going to try and find the person closest to doing that. I think it is going to be... No, it's not Warrener because he is on an outlap. Let's go down to Mercs. No, it's not Mercs. Let's go down... I tell you what, we'll go with Destroyer Cannon then in Sector 2. And, oh, it was Warrener. Pretty sure it came up saying he was on an out. Of course, yeah. Salty Stevens retires from the session as well. Another person serving the engine penalty. We'll stick them with Destroyer Cannon for the time being in the McLaren. Let's see what he can deliver here in Bahrain. It's a 129.128. We'll be hoping that's enough to see him through. In fact, it probably should be, really, considering there are 3 people serving engine penalties. So in theory, the top 15 will automatically just go through. Guessing perhaps people might just retire maybe. Let's have a look. Could well be the case, you know. Apologies for not knowing that. I think it could well be. Yeah, not 100% sure. Can't seem to find out that information. But anyway, yeah, we will see all those 15 drivers move on to the next stage. Bear in mind that we've got 3 people in engine penalties, so hopefully with any luck we might just dive into the pits and then just retire, because it won't effectively matter when they do, and then we can move straight on to Q2, where we will lose a further 5 drivers. Hopefully that will be the case. We do have a driver here, though, with an invalidated lap time. Oh no, Simon has set a lap time. That's Simon 0163. Surprised many of these drivers went out on softs, unless they were the used softs from earlier. I've certified deck saying only a short quali. I had Q1 on my thing. Yeah, that would have made more sense. Yeah, that would have made more sense. I don't really know why I had Q. Yeah, I'm being stupid. Apologies. Yeah, no, I'm losing my mind here. So yeah, it is only a short quali. Apologies for that there. I'm just being stupid. Right then, so leading the way at the moment is Bad Boy 2005 with a 128.438, closely followed by Warrener 666 with a 128.467. Thank you for that certified deck, for that bit of information. Black Panther with a 128.671. UFRL Mercs with a 129.071. Simon 129.098. Boy Knockout at 129.123. It's pretty close between those 3, and it's very close between the top 3. I tell you what, I think Warrener, was Warrener not the Tier 2 champion of last season? I'm pretty sure it might have been him, which would make sense as to why he's up now in Tier 1. Destroyer Jack, yeah, fantastic. Thanks for that bit of information there, bud. Destroyer Cannon is Destroyer Jack. Change my name in honor of Poop. That's another wonderful tribute sent out by many of these wonderful, wonderful league racers here in the UFRL. It's a true family affair. Really puts other leagues to shame in that regard. So well done to you all. See. Running on board then with Rusted Bolt at the moment. Is on one of his outlaps in the Haas. I believe he's been a member of the UFRL family for quite a number of years now, a number of seasons. I think that's the same as many others as well, like UFRL Parker, for example. Destroyer Cannon, been there a long time. Boy Knockout, I've raced with him a few times in the past. A very, very solid driver, now driving in the red of Ferrari alongside the Wizard Rex. No Gandalf this evening, which is a shame. I really thoroughly enjoyed racing with him during my stint in Tier 2 a couple of seasons ago. Everyone then is now on an outlap. We'll try and find. Let's go to UFRL Woody in the pink Alpine. Let's see how well he can start then. In Bahrain, he's not having the best time at the moment, languishing down in P13. He'll be hoping that he can improve on that situation, work his way into the top 10 at the very, very least. He's got just over a minute or so to do so. He's going to have this one lap. Is a little bit of a slippy slide there from UFRL Woody. Gone through sector 2, reasonably well. So, I'd say what the back end's coming out all over the place on that Alpine. Let's go up to the Viking Fox then. He's currently in sector 1. he's also languishing down to the lower end of the table in P10 currently. Let's then go further up the field. Let's go to the Black Panther. I believe is now going through Sector 2. He's currently residing in P3. Bad Boy 2005 has got to get himself through. Hopefully he'll be able to make it before. Yes, he will. He'll be comfortably there to be able to do a flying lap. Stick them with the Black Panther for the time being. He has gone faster through Sector 2. He'll be hoping to go faster through Sector 3. Let's then go down to UFRL Woody, who crosses the line and moves himself up into P10. That'll be the end of his qualifying. He'll be hoping that nobody else improves. Let's go to Black Panther then, as he will now cross the line. He'll be hoping to improve on P3. It is an improvement, but he remains in P3. It's a 128.503 for him. Let's then try and find the Haas. I believe it is. Rusted Bolt. It is indeed. It is the Rusted Bolt. Let's go down to him then. Let's see if he can improve on his previous best. And it's a P10. He does improve. Reasonable lap from him. The Viking Fox now up to P5. He'll be quite happy with that, I think. Simon up into P4 as well. Now Silky Stevens moves also up. Warren deciding to dive into the pits. And Bad Boy has invalidated. Too sure his lap time is going to be under any serious threat. Boy knockout up into P8. We've now got just Destroyer Cannon to cross the line then. Becky Gaming. Destroyer Cannon up into P4. Fantastic time from the Destroyer. And Becky Gaming then up into P13. A very, very good shoot from him. Avitriel, is that how you say it? Not too sure. Saying up the cannon. Absolutely right. This is tier 1. Thought Drac was tier 2. And then UFRL Formula 1 saying Drac got moved to tier 1. I think rightfully so, especially as he qualified in P4. Fabulous job from him. So, ladies and gentlemen, P1 is Bad Boy 2005 with a 128.438. It was very, very close between him and Warren, a 666. Black Panther taking P3. Destroyer Cannon P4. Silky Stevens P5. UFRL Parker P6. Simon P7. UFRL Mercs P8. Boy Knockout P9. And the Viking Fox rounding out the top 10. Sadly, I won't have enough time to get it through onto that one. And Vitriol saying, I'm the Mexico Tier 2 comms. Fantastic. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to that tomorrow evening. I'm sure that'll be a fantastic watch, that's for sure. So in the night skies of the Bahrain Grand Prix, who will take the victory this evening? It's a 50% race. It's a perfect race. I'm not a big fan of those 100% races. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm not a huge fan. I did comms on a 100% race last week, and it's I think it makes it more interesting in regards to the pit stops, etc., etc. But I find the action on track is better with 50%. I don't know why. I don't know about anyone else as well. I'm not a big fan of the DRS becoming activated after lap 1. I think it can cause absolute chaos in the game, especially given that we're obviously running equal cars. I think it just can cause chaos and accidents all over the field. But hopefully we'll get a lovely clean race this evening. Right, I'm going to take a short break then. I'm going to go grab myself a quick drink, and I'll be back with you shortly. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. I'm pretty sure we are due to start any moment now. Proceedings were due to be kicked off at 20:36, which is now. So hopefully we'll be able to get things back underway shortly. Oh yeah, we are indeed about to get things back underway here for round 2 of the UFRL Tier 1 season, and we're off and underway here in Bahrain. Warrener taking the lead early on, then overtaking Bad Boy into turn 1. Red Bull will be hoping to keep his position, and he does. The Alpine also remains in P2. Black Panther onto P3. Destroyer Drac remaining in P4 for the time being. Let's then go further down the field. Bakey Gaming with an absolutely magnificent start then. Already up into P8. A really good job from him. He's made 5 positions off the starting grid. What a start from the Bakey Gaming man. Really good show. Simon also up 2 positions. Really good start from him. Warrener got to be one of the favourites, isn't he, for the title? He looks really, really quick out there. He's up 1 position, overtaking Bad Boy 2005. Really, really solid start. Also a good start then from Salty Stevens. He's already up 4 positions after serving that engine ban, or the qualifying ban. Do a really good thing here with when they have to set out 1 qualifying per season. I think that's actually a really, really good idea. It certainly makes the league campaign more interesting. So we're running on board then with the Black Panther as he pursues Bad Boy 2005. He's just 3 seconds behind him on the opening lap. He will have DRS available to him on the next lap. Hoping to make some inroads then. The Viking. Oh, and there has been a collision, has there? Look like there's some sparks and things flying around there, but it's just the undercarriage touching the bottom of the track. Warrener then the fastest lap for obvious reasons, leading the way. We ride on board then with the Black Panther, trying to go down the outside of Bad Boy here. Will he make the move, stick into turn 1? I think he... Oh, it is very nip and tuck between the pair of them there. Are the wheels touching? They're very, very close. Bad Boy just about retaining that position from the Williams. He might have another go here, or will Bad Boy potentially have a go at Warrener here? It is very, very nip and tuck, and Black Panther now, I think he's manoeuvred his way up into P2. That was some really, really good racing between the pair of them there. You can see the driver of the Black Panther with his arm in the air there, but I don't think it was anything too major between the pair of them. Kingy OG saying, let's go Aston. How things are going for the moment. Deck is down in 16th, but Silky Stevens now up into P6. Let's have a look at everyone's tyre scenario then. Most of them in fact, it's a bit of a 50-50 split between hard and mediums. Warrener then is on the hard compound tyre, and Black Panther on the mediums. That might be why he was able to get round the Bad Boy 2005. May have more difficulty getting around Warrener though. It is all very, very close then in the field as things stand. With the Bad Boy then for this one, shall we? Let's see if he can reclaim the position from Black Panther. It didn't look as if Black Panther got an overly clean exit there from the final chicane. Simon, oh, in fact, there's so many people getting new fastest laps. We can't keep up, but at the moment it is Boy Knockout 6199. And in the meantime, Black Panther trying to make those mediums count into turn 1, but Warrener successfully defends the position. He did very, very well there indeed. We can get a little bit of telemetry up here. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, there we are. I do like the way that on F125 they have the harvesting symbol down there. I think that's just absolutely fantastic. Let's then go down to the battle between Salty Stevens and Rusted Bolt then for P13 and P12 respectively. At the moment, Salty Stevens in the kick, Sauber occupying P13, Rusted Bolt occupying P12 on 2 separate strategies. So in the meantime, we have just missed. The Bad Boy has reclaimed the position off of Black Panther. I'm guessing Black Panther may have made a bit of an error. There is a huge backlog of cars there behind the Warrener. Look how close, look how nip and tuck all this racing is. It is absolutely fabulous to see. A really good opening 3 laps then. It's just a shame that we've actually only got 29 laps of this. Really, really blistering start by UFRL Tier 1. Good job by all the drivers out there. Not a single DNF on the opening 3 laps, which is also fantastic to see. Let's stick then with the Bad Boy. He's not going to make a move this time round, or will he? Apologies, I was think he was on the completely wrong part of the track there. Let's see if he can open up that DRS and make the move on Warrener. Warrener looks as if he's going to be able to defend, does he? He's going to go down the outside. It's going to be very nip and tuck between these two. Will the Warrener yield? He's not yielding, but he might just lose the position here to the Williams of Black Panther. And he does. Black Panther then up into P1. But of course, remember, they are on completely separate strategies. And in the meantime as well, Bad Boy also makes the move on Warrener. Then Warrener dropping 2 positions in just 1 corner. He'll be really, really disappointed with that. Now he's going to have to deal with Destroyer Cannon, who is on the faster compound of the tyre. But Simon now making the move on Destroyer Cannon. Let's see if he can get around him. He can't. Destroyer Cannon retaining that position. Doing a fabulous job at doing so. UFRL Merckx in the meantime has overtaken the Viking Fox. The Viking Fox will not be pleased with that, bearing in mind he is on the faster compound of tyre. I don't think there's a huge difference here, Bahrain, between the mediums and the hards. I think it's usually always better to start on the mediums. I'm not quite sure why. Every time I've raced around here, the winner always seems to start on the mediums and end on the hards. I don't know if how anyone else's view on that is. It's the way I've always seen it. It is so close. I tell you, I just don't know where to watch at the moment. My gut tells me to stick with this battle, but I feel as if I'm missing a lot down the further end of the field. But Bad Boy now trying to keep pace with the Black Panther. Warrener starting to fall away now. In the meantime, seemingly struggling on those hard tyres, but the Bad Boy, oh, will they touch here? It is so tight, nip and tuck here. Very respectful driving between the pair of them. You have to say that was absolutely brilliant, brilliant racing from the Black Panther and Bad Boy. Very, very well done to the pair of them. Absolutely splendid job there. Let's drop now down to UFRL Woody. It's so hard to keep up with everyone because it is all so close. Boy Knockout then having to dive into the pits. I'm guessing something's happened there. In the meantime, Rusted Bolt has also picked up a 3-second time penalty. That is very, very early on to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Don't be surprised to see him add a couple more penalties to that. Bear in mind, we're only on lap 5 of 29. UFRL Parker having a bit of a disastrous race, as is Boy Knockout now, having had to pit. He'll be able to make it to the very end on those fresh hards. The Black Panther now starting to build it's a very small cushion on this track, to be fair, given that long DRS straight. If you've got the battery power as well, yeah, it's minimal. You can tell that Black Panther clearly has a higher wing ratio than the Bad Boy. The Bad Boy seems a lot quicker down these straights and will certainly show that again now. With the DRS and battery in full flow, he has moved back into P1. Being on those hard tyres, Black Panther just cannot pull away. He just can't get away from Bad Boy, and that may cost him in the long run here at Bahrain. Round 2 of the UFRL Racing League. Let's go a little bit further down the field. Let's go then to Deck in the Aston Martin. Will he look to make a move here on Salty Stevens in the kicks out? I don't think he will. He's going to hang on just a little bit longer. In fact, no, Deck is on hards and Salty Stevens is on mediums. In the meantime, Parker setting the new fastest lap of the race at 1:33.075, showing they're not the slow driver. They've just been very, very unfortunate. In fact, nobody can be classed as slow in this tier, that's for sure. There's 18 fabulous, fabulous drivers this evening, even those that have stepped up from Tier 2 as well. They're clearly doing a brilliant, brilliant job. Black Panther sticking with Bad Boy, just over 5 tenths behind. Yeah, he seemed to catch him there, but look at this down the straight. He's using a bit of battery, not a huge amount, mind you. Won't say how much. Those drivers are listening, getting any information that they shouldn't necessarily have. I don't think he's going to get him this time. Let's go down to Simon then, chasing down Destroyer Cannon. I think he's a little bit too far back then, sadly, for Simon. In the meantime, UFRL F1 Viva has moved up a position up into P14. Deck has also overtaken Salty Stevens then. Apologies for missing that one. Deck will be quite pleased with that in the Aston Martin. And Kingy OG will be pleased with that as he writes, "Let's go, Aston." Sure, he'll be reasonably pleased with how things are going for the Aston Martin with Silky Stevens in P6 and Deck in P11. I'm guessing Salty Stevens and Silky Stevens, are they brothers? Are they related? If anyone has that information at hand, that'd be quite interesting. It'd be really great to see them have a bit of a tussle, a brotherly tussle, just like the old days of Ralph Schumacher and Michael Schumacher. It'd be really interesting to see. In fact, we'd love to see that tonight if they can have a bit of a tussle out on track. We'll go then back up to Bad Boy. Does anyone know of any real harsh rivalries in this league? I'm pretty sure everyone is quite friendly, but it'd be nice to see a bitter rivalry out on track. If anyone knows of any there, please by all means let me know. Tunnel Vision 988, thank you for letting me know that he believes they are brothers. Really interesting to see if Salty Stevens can catch up Silky. We'll stick them with the Bad Boy 2005 then, as he looks to make that overtaking manoeuvre down the pit lane straight. It's a comfortable overtaking manoeuvre, and he works his way back up to P1. And that's gained the position from Black Panther, who will be kicking himself as he just cannot pull away from Bad Boy. Destroyer Cannon then picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. He will not be happy with that, as has UFRL Woody. That's 3 drivers now with 3-second time penalties, which will affect their final race outcome. Let's go a little bit further down the field again, then let's go back to Woody. There's a mid-pack is all starting to bunch up quite nice. To be honest with you, actually looking at the field, there is not a hell of a lot in it from first down to 16. There isn't really a great deal after 8 laps. It's really, really good. Really good. Let's have a look if I can find that. The leader. There's 8 seconds in it. That's absolutely incredible. Really, really well done. That's a tier 1. That's absolutely fabulous. As you can see, the penalty scenario there. That's Cannon with 3, Woody with 3, and the Rusted Bolt with 3 as well. Nice scenarios there, but let's have a look at positional changes. Then Black Panther is up 1 position, Warrener down 1, Simon up 2, Destroyer Cannon remaining the same in P4, Silky Stevens down 1, Merck's up 1, Viking Fox up 2, Deck, who is having a wonderful, wonderful race, and as you can see there, just ahead of Woody, has gained another position. He's up into P9. He's now jumped up 7 positions and doing a really, really good job. Now P9, he'll be very, very happy with that, and Kingy OG will be happy with that as well. Aston Martin, so well done to him. Salty Stevens also up 7, that's 1/2 of the brothers. Starting to get a little bit closer in the field. Silky Stevens now down to P7, and Salty Stevens up to P11. I really want to see these 2 brothers go at it. Fantastic scene. UFO, Mr. Poem then up 2 positions, Viva up 1. Interesting to see these 2 have a bit of a battle as well. These 2 are almost like brothers as well. Right, let's go back to the tyre scenario then. Let's stick with that. Let's let everyone view. Everyone else is on. We'll go back then up to Deck. As you can see at the top of the screen as well, Bad Boy was starting to gain. In fact, he is. Yeah, he's gaining more and more time on the Black Panther. I wonder if those mediums are now starting to grain. I don't know if there has ever been a father versus son in F1. I'm not 100% sure. For me personally, in the UFRL, I believe that I have raced with my father, Popscon, if that's any consolation. But I don't think in live F1 there has actually been a father versus son battle. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure somebody out there can Google that and let us know. The Aston Martin of Silky Stevens then diving into the pits. 8-lap-old hards, and also picks up a 10-second time penalty. That is a real killer blow for not only Silky Stevens, but the Aston Martin team in general. People are now diving into the pits. There's starting to, a bit of a gap starting to form then. Wizard Rex now right on the tail of UFRL Viva. think it's Beaver that potentially overtook him previously. But Wizard Rex will have DRS available to him now. But Beaver defending his position resolutely there. That is fantastic. Oh, and UFRL Cowley, thank you for that bit of information. Deck is UFRL Woody's son. Wow. Nick versus Woody. That is absolutely brilliant. See that. Deck then up into P7. Woody currently in P13. Well, Woody, you've got a little bit of work to do then to catch your son. At the moment, Youth is winning. Chat between you and I, that always happens with me and my father as well. You far a Formula 1, you joking? Deck would piss on his dad. Wow. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be doing that any time soon to my father, but each their own, each their own. We'll stick then with Deck. Hopefully he isn't pissing on anyone at the time being, but he might well try and piss on UFO Mercs here, and he may well do. He's up in a P5. It's a fabulous, fabulous move down that pit lane straight. That is where most of the overtaking scenarios are happening this evening. Tunnel Vision 998 saying, I also love to piss on my... Wow, that is very, very interesting indeed. Interesting lobby we have this evening. So Woody then no, not Woody diving into the pits. I believe it's actually Bakey Gaming diving into the pits. That's then I tell you what, it seems to be a few more people starting to get a little bit further apart now, which not always good for the commentator, but good for the drivers. Gives him a little bit of a break, especially after that start. Deck then doing a fabulous, fabulous job up in P5. He's doing a splendid, splendid job. Deck's pissing on it. You know what? He's doing brilliantly. He's doing an absolutely world-class job out there for the Aston Martin team this evening. I think their team will be really, really happy with him. They might not be so happy with... is it Salty Stevens? No, I tell you what, I think it's Silky Stevens. Oh, I'm getting so confused with these blooming names. Yeah, it's Salty Stevens with the 10-second time penalty, not Silky Stevens, so apologies there. These two now, though, are right behind each other. It's nice to see them have a bit of a battle. The two brothers, the brothers in arms, or perhaps not so much this evening. Let's then go back up to Mercs then. In fact, let's go to Deck, who is now up into a P4. He's seemingly overtaking everyone during this race. What a fabulous, fabulous drive from him this evening. He ought to be incredibly proud of what he's been doing so far out there, and he's got to be the main contender for driver of the day at the moment. And in the meantime, UFRL Woody, his father, gets the fastest lap of the race. Well, it's a father and son battle. Deck is clearly winning the way, but Woody picking up that fastest lap. Salty Stevens in the meantime as well, overtaking former Tier 2 rival, the Viking Fox, but of course both of them do have 10 seconds worth of penalties. Destroyer Drac and Woody then, Destroyer Cannon, apologies, and Woody having a battle then for P11 and P10 respectively here. Both drivers have a 3-second time penalty as well. We'll be waiting a little bit longer before we see cause for concern for UFRL Woody. We will have DRS available pretty soon. But most drivers tend to back off through this first section and wait for the long pit straight. It's understandable due to the fact that the driver behind will obviously have the DRS available to them and will most likely reclaim the position. And it makes the DRS zone there a little bit pointless, doesn't it, really? Just wonder if they could just do away with that all in all. They don't really need it, do they? Never mind. Let's then go back up to Simon diving into the pits. In fact, let's go back to Destroyer Drac and Woody. Woody, he might come under threat here, I think, from Destroyer Cannon. We'll stick with this battle for the time being. Who will come out in P10 at the end of turn 1? Destroyer Drac trying for the move and makes it very, very successfully indeed. It's Destroyer Cannon up into P9. Woody now down to P10. Salty Stevens getting around Viking Fox, or does he? Viking Fox trying to go back down the inside. Now it's Salty Stevens. He's through up into P12. Another good overtaking maneuver from him. Let's go to Silky Stevens. My goodness me, I can't. It's too similar for my liking. I think one of them's got to change something. Or I just need to start wearing my glasses. That'll probably help a little bit more. Boy knockout then with a 3-second time penalty. It's another one to add to the list of the drivers out there, as you can see. Things stand then, so tyres. Wizard Rex then deciding to go on the softs. I think that's a bizarre move from the Ferrari driver. Ferrari not having their best day at the moment, with Wizard Rex in 16th and Boy knockout in P17th. It's not a good race for them at all. We'll go back then to Deck. He's going to move up to P3 just because the Warrener, I think, has just dived into the pits, which he has. Or is it Black Panther? Sorry, Black Panther has dived into the pits, but we'll stick them with Deck as he's pursuing the Warrener 666 here. He's going to try and make the maneuver into turn 1 and successfully navigates his way up into P2. What a drive so far from Deck. Really, really solid showing from the Aston Martin driver. He's got to be so proud of how he's raced so far. I wonder how his father would feel, UFRL, would he? I wonder if he'll be proud of his son. You'd like to hope so. But Deck then up into P2. Fabulous driving from him as he manoeuvres his way around the tricky driver of Warrener 666. Bad Boy at the moment then leading the way. It is by 5 seconds. But Deck is on a he's on a real roll at the moment. I just wonder if he's going to catch him before the end of this race. Can Deck do the impossible? He was saying in the chat earlier that he needed to be in Tier 4 if there was a Tier 4. Well, he's put that to rest, hasn't he? My word. He's doing fabulous. Fabulous. UFRL Formula 1, someone needs to go to the opticians, Mr. Kong. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, no, I really do. In fact, I lost my glasses recently, and it's been a bit of a struggle since, but convincing those opticians are trying to delay the inevitable for as long as possible. We'll then go down to Woody in the Alpine. We'll go down to Deck's father as he's pursuing Destroyer Cannon. Need to get close enough to, well, in fact, let's go up the field then, as we might see the Black Panther overtaking the league owner, Mr. Poem. Black Panther trying to go down the outside of Mr. Poem here. I think he's going to make the move. Yeah, he had far too much speed. And Destroyer Cannon also went round Mr. Poem. I think that may have been a little bit of team orders there. King OG saying that Deck is a machine. And certainly proving to be the case. UFRL Woody also going around Mr. Poem. Is there a slight issue for Mr. Poem then? Does he have any sort of wing damage or anything like that? Who knows? Go down to Salty Stevens, then, who is pursuing Simon0163. I recognise that name as well. Was he also in Tier 2? Not 100% sure. Destroyer Cannon then was half a second now behind the Black Panther, who will be warming up those hard tyres. Destroyer Cannon pitted 3 laps earlier compared to the Black Panther. He's on 4-lap-old hards, Black Panther on fresher ones. It will be considerably colder, and it does take a little while for those tyres to warm up around this track, given the night-time conditions in Bahrain. Black Panther also picking up a 3-second time penalty. That is a real killer blow for him. Guessing he might have been a bit concerned about Destroyer Cannon starting to creep up behind him. Bakey Gaming now just at 4/10 or 5/10 now, half a second behind the Viking Fox. They're both teammates. I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of team orders here. We're going to see, what's the word called? I can't remember the blooming word now. The DRS chain or something along those lines. We might see that happening. I'm sure you all know what that means. We go then down to Wizard Rex. That Ferrari does look wonderful, doesn't it? I say this every single season, but it's a glorious machine. I think it's absolutely fantastic. As you can see at the top, then Deck has made a slight inroad into Bad Boy's lead. It's now 4.4 seconds. Enough at the moment. He's going to have to start putting the pedal, or the metal to the pedal, or the pedal to the metal. I think that's the one. if he really wants to catch up the bad boy by the end of this race. We've got just 13 laps left to go. That is unlucky for some. Let's hope that's not the case for Deck. He's now cut that lead down to 4.3 seconds. In the meantime, Mr. Poem then dropping a position to Salty Stevens. Those hards are now starting to get to the end of their life. I wonder if some of these drivers are running slightly too high a downforce. That's why they're graining a little bit. Let's go down to Wizard Rex, who surprisingly is on those softs. Really, I don't think that's quite ideal from him. He should be able to catch Bakey Gaming up quite easily in the meantime. And I'm guessing Deck is in the pits. He's moving on to those mediums. It seems very, very slow though. I think that might have just been my internet connection perhaps. But it seemed like a really slow pit stop. Viva going past him then up into P5. He's on 16 lap on hards. He's still yet to pit. Black Panther though has of course pitted, as has Destroyer Cannon, but they are now on slower compound tyre than Deck. Deck will have to make those overtaking manoeuvres once again. He has proved that he is an absolute machine in doing so. Hopefully we'll see some interesting racing from the Aston Martin driver. He's got his father behind him, just over a second. He won't be in DRS range, and of course Deck is on much fresher medium tyres, so should be able to pull clear of his father in the Alpine UFRL, would he? Go down to Bakey Gaming. He's keeping with his teammate Viking Fox for the time being. Both of them on the same sort of tyre wear, tyre life. Let's go up to Destroy Cannon. Did he just drop a position there? I'm not too sure if I missed that for the McLaren driver. I don't think he did. It just something happened on the telemetry. Perhaps he overtook Viva. He might have overtaken Viva. Deck now right behind Viva. Will Viva be going into the pits reasonably soon though? Viva's got to be wary of that. Deck now trying to go down the outside, or is he going to try and retain that battery to potentially make that move a little bit later on? Bad boy then into the pits. He's going to go on soft compound tyre. Very, very interesting. He'll be hoping that he can push that to the very end then. So Deck has overtaken UFRL Viva and is up now into P7. Bad boy has come out in front of Deck, Destroyer Jack and Black Panther. He's on softs. How long can he make them last? Now that is the question. Just wonder. It's going to be tough for them. It is certainly going to be tough to make them last to the end. We'll see. These drivers are better than I, so I'm sure they have a plan. I'm sure there's a method to what I would perceive as absolute madness. But I'm sure he'll be just fine. Deck then just under now, half a second behind Destroyer Cannon. If he'll make a move in this DRS zone, he might do, bearing in mind that Bad Boy is in front of him. I think he is. He is going to try it here. Deck then trying the move on Destroyer Cannon through Sector 2 into the beginning of Sector 3, and he does that very, very successfully. Deck then up into P6, overtaking Destroyer Cannon. A really, really good, safe manoeuvre from him. Very, very nice indeed. He is now just 7/10 behind the Black Panther. The Black Panther will not have DRS available to him. He's not close enough to Bad Boy, so Deck may well be able to make another manoeuvre here. Panther will be hoping that he's got enough life left in that ERS battery to be able to defend the position. Deck with the new fastest lap of the race, 131.075. Deck then now up to P4 after Merckx and Rusted Bolt both decide to pit. Viva is also into the pit lane as well. Remaining behind the Panther for the time being then. He quite had enough left in the battery to make a move. Warrener then is leading the way then. He's in P1. He will most likely be pitting for softs, but he's going to be he's not far enough ahead to stay in front of what I would think would probably be the top 6. Just have a look, see the difference. Yeah, sort of 17, 18. Yeah, 17, 18. To be honest, he might even drop as far down as P8. quite sure on the length of how long it takes in the pit lane, but that could well be the case. I think he should have pitted a little bit earlier, the Warrener, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll pit reasonably soon, and would think now he will be moving on to the softs. Very similar to what Bad Boy has done. In fact, he is now diving into the pits. It'll be really interesting to see where he comes out. Thankfully, though, he wasn't one of the drivers that picked up a 10-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane, which is good. So Bad Boy then now moves back into the lead of this Grand Prix. He is on soft compound tyre. Deck up into P2 as he has just made the manoeuvre on the Black Panther down the straight. What a drive from the Aston Martin. He is just over 3 seconds behind Bad Boy. Bad Boy's got to try and make a real decent lead, and the Warrener, yeah, he's come out in P8 as a thought. I think he's just run a little bit too long there. He should be able to manoeuvre his way around Silky Stevens, Salty Stevens, just due to tyre wear more than anything. I don't see him catching up Simon, if I'm being completely honest. I can see Warrener finishing in the realms of P6. I don't think he'll improve any more on that. In terms of the podium, I think that's really up for grabs. I'm not sure how long these softs are going to last here. I know it is more than possible to run on hards to softs here, but I think it was a real risk from Bad Boy. They're only 2 laps old, of course. Deck now running on 3-lap-old mediums. He is just over 3 seconds behind the Bad Boy, with Black Panther now 1.6 seconds behind Deck. I very much doubt the Black Panther will be able to catch the Aston Martin, unless Deck makes some form of mistake. I think the same goes for Destroyer Cannon. But I'm pretty sure now, barring any mistakes or time penalties, I think this will most likely be your top 4. Of course, Black Panther and Destroyer Cannon, I believe, have 3-second time penalties. We'll just look at that, yeah, just to confirm. So the Black Panther and Destroyer Cannon do have 3-second time penalties. That does give Simon an opportunity to potentially gate crash the podium positions. I don't think he'll get any higher than P3. To be honest, I would find it difficult to see him catching the rest of them. I find it difficult to see him getting up into P3. Warrener, in the meantime, then already up into P6. So he started very, very nicely indeed. But he's actually on the mediums. I'm very, very surprised. I guess he'd used all his softs during qualifying, which is obviously very possible, very plausible. I'd be surprised. Yeah, you know, 2 runs is probably about right, isn't it? Surely. So let's go down to Parker then, who is the closest battler. Currently residing in P17. They will not be happy with that position. They've got the Viking Fox in front of them, 7/10 ahead. Of course, Parker does have a time penalty. It's 3 seconds has just been added. Let's just see. The overall is now 6 for Parker. It's the same for Boy Knockout. 3 for Woody, 3 for Rusted Bolt, and 3 for Destroyer Cannon and the Black Panther. Let's stick with that one then for the time being. I think Parker will potentially look to make a move on the pit lane straight. In the meantime, Rusted Bolt has just made the move on Bakey Gaming, moving himself up into position 8 in the field. You can just go back to that one. Yeah, nothing too drastic happening there now. UFRL Woody using that DRS to his full advantage and gaining time on Viva, but it's not enough to make any real inroads. We'll go then back to Parker versus the Viking Fox. Let's see what can happen here. Let's see if Parker can make a move. I think Parker's going to be too far back on this occasion, sadly for them. Deck then, as you can see, has cut that lead down to 2.2 seconds. I think there is every chance that Deck could gain another win here. Bad Boy as well, picking up a 3-second time penalty. Now that is surely now going to remove any real possibility of a Grand Prix win here, unless Deck picks up a time penalty himself. Because at the moment, Deck is just etching away at that lead. It's now under 2 seconds. He'll soon, I reckon by lap 25, be in DRS range as well to gain the position on the field as well. Black Panther then is now 2.8 seconds ahead of Destroyer Cannon. Destroyer Cannon is now 5.5 seconds clear of Simons at the moment. Oh, I tell you what, Warrener in the meantime, apologies for nearly missing this. The Red Bull making the manoeuvre on the Williams through Sector 1's DRS and now manoeuvres his way up into P5. Will he now start to have Destroyer Cannon and the Black Panther in his sights as he looks to try and claim a podium position? Of course, the other two do have 3-second time penalties, so there might now be every possibility, as well as being on fresher tyres. And of course, he's on the mediums and the others are on hards, and they're considerably fresher as well for Warrener. Maybe he has made a good decision here to pit late. Deck then now 1.4 seconds behind the bad boy. I'd be very surprised now if Deck doesn't go on and win this, and what would be an absolute fantastic drive from the Aston Martin. He's still not close enough to be within DRS range. I think another lap and a half maybe another 2 laps and he'll be there, but all he's really got to do now is, in a sense, almost just cruise to the finish and make sure he doesn't pick up any time penalty after Bad Boy's penalty. But I think being on the medium compound tyre, I'd imagine that Bad Boy's tyres maybe have got another 3 laps left in them at most. Of course, we've still got 5 laps left of this race. You'll start to see him tyres starting to really grain, and yeah, you can see through Sector 1 that is well and truly the case. Deck now is within DRS range. Look how close he's gained. Look how much time he's gained through that Sector 1 alone. And yeah, Bad Boy just seemingly manoeuvring his way out of. It might be a little bit tactical here as he'll look to regain the position on the pit lane straight. I think that is a bit of tactical play there by Bad Boy 2005. It's not something I really like to see, to be honest, but I get it. I do get it. And it's a 3-second time penalty as well for Salty Stevens in the meantime. We'll stick with this one for the time being. Let's yeah, we'll stick with Bad Boy and Deck for P1. Just wonder if Deck's played him here. I think he might have done. Yeah, Deck remains in P1 then, following the pit lane straight. I think that was Bad Boy's plan, was to regain the position. But that's not been the case, and Deck now may well start to pull clear of Bad Boy, and what surely is going to be race win number 2. I'm pretty sure he won the last race. I will just quickly double check, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. Pretty sure Deck won last race. Let's have a look. He did indeed, with Pesci in second, Bad Boy finishing in third. So yeah, it really does look as if it is going to be a second win in a row for Deck. I mean, I'm not being funny, but do they have another tier? Because this guy's absolutely brilliant. He's absolutely fantastic. Let's have a look at positional changes. That's 15 positions he's jumped up. 15. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Looking at other positional changes then out on track. So you've got, of course, his father, Woody, has also jumped up 5. The Rusted Bolt is up 4. Viva's up 5. Mr. Poem's up 5. Salty Stevens is up 5. They've all had brilliant races. Sadly, for the other drivers on the other end of the echelon, the Viking Fox dropping 6 positions, Boy Knockout dropping 8, and Parker dropping 12 positions. They will not be happy with their showing today at Bahrain. In fact, I'm pretty sure they'll be most disappointed. Bad Boy just about retaining his DRS capabilities. I don't think it's going to be very long until Deck starts to pull away from him, sadly. We've got 3 laps left to go, and what has been a really intriguing race. We're right on board then with the Mercs, the UFRL Mercs, up into Tier 1. Into Turn 1, not Tier 1. Well, we are Tier 1, but and Turn 1 battling hard here with Simon. Was there a little bit of contact there? I'm not too sure. But the green Kick Sauber does now seem to have the position, and he moves up into P6, overtaking the Williams of Simon then. Mercs up 2 positions. Let's now have a look at the penalty situation once again, whilst we also sit on the board with this battle. In fact, we might actually go down to Woody, who's pushing hard here against Viva. Of course, Woody does have that 3-second time penalty hanging over his head as well, sadly for him. So as you can see then, in terms of the penalty scenario, let's go back up to this one. Apologies for missing that. I didn't realise the Warren and Destroyer Drac were so close, Destroyer Cannon was so close together there. Woody picking up another 3-second time penalty as well in the meantime, but the Warrener is now up into P4. He's got to gain 3 seconds now on the Black Panther to take away that final podium from the Williams driver. It's going to be hard pushed. Just 2 laps to go. It's going to be a big ask, that. So I think at the moment the top 3 looks reasonably secure. Bad Boy now back up into the DRS range of Deck, but of course with that 3-second time penalty hanging over his head, I don't think it's going to be really a late charge for the lead of this Grand Prix. Go down to Salty Stevens then, who might decide to make a move on Mr. Poem down the pit lane straight then. We'll stick with this one for the time being. He kicks Sauber getting right up close behind him. Plenty of battery life and makes the move count. Salty Stevens up into P12. And behind his brother Silky Stevens. In fact, no, Silky Stevens is now up into P9 with a fantastic double overtaking manoeuvre on Woody and Viva in that Aston Martin. A really, really great overtaking manoeuvre, and glad we managed to catch that on the stream. You'll be reasonably happy with that, that's for sure. Cannon then remaining, well, actually, no, he's just gone outside of that DRS range on the Warrener, so the Warrener will now surely be clear. With Cannon, Destroyer Cannon's 3-second time penalty hanging over his head as well. That will certainly not help him. We'll go back then to Woody, who's battling hard with Viva. Oh, I think Deck. Oh, I think Deck has left the lobby. Wow. I mean, I think he has rejoined. He's just got to get back in that car again. But at the moment, Deck is going to lose this Grand Prix. Oh, that would be an absolute travesty, wouldn't it? My word. What a drive as well by the fella. That would be, you know what, he's already 4 seconds now down on the Bad Boy 2005. I think the Bad Boy 2005 will now go on and win this Grand Prix. What on earth has happened here? The Deck is now back in the car, but he's got to gain 1.2 seconds with just 1.5 laps to go. And the Black Panther in the meantime as well is also right behind him on track. Of course, he does have 3 seconds worth of time penalties hanging over his head. But my goodness me, Decker's got to make a late charge now and really hope and pray that the tyre scenario for Bad Boy, he'll be hoping that his tyres have just fallen off a cliff here. Because if they haven't, then Deck will not win this Grand Prix. He's now cut that lead down to 6/10. This is going to be fascinating. What an end to this Grand Prix. In fact, he's already cut it down to 4/10. What a late charge again by Deck. That is absolutely sensational. If he still goes, he's going to still win this Grand Prix. Incredible. Absolutely sodding incredible by Deck. We'll go down to Viva, who once again, it's a real intriguing battle between Viva and Woody. and Silky Stevens in that remit as well. I think Woody will have the DRS available to him, but as will Viva. Will they be able to make the overtaking manoeuvre on Silky Stevens? Of course, Woody, with that 6 seconds worth of penalties as well, he won't be gaining final position credits over the other two, but I'm sure he'd like to make a manoeuvre out on track anyhow. Let's go then back up to deck then. And Bad Boy, the lead has now been cut down to just 1.5 seconds. In fact, Black Panther isn't that far behind either. But Deck, yeah, he's surely now still going to go on and win this race, unless he picks up a late 3-second time penalty. We will, of course, though, ride on board with Bad Boy, who will cross the line as the race winner. But, of course, Deck will win it based on those 3 seconds. But I think he still would have won this Grand Prix without it anyway. But it will be Deck then. So it's Bad Boy crossing the line in first place out on track, but Deck takes the win. That's a positional change of 15 positions. Really, really solid drive from him. The Black Panther will come home in third. Warrener will take P4. He'll be quite happy with that, actually, in all fairness to him. Merckx taking P5. Destroyer Cannon P6. Simon P7. Rusted Bolt P8. Silky Stevens P9, UFRL F1 Viva P10, UFRL Woody P11, Salty Stevens, I think, looking at it, will come home, I think. Bakey Gaming will claim P12 then, Salty Stevens P13, UFRL Mr. Poem P14, Wizard Rex P15, Boy Knockout P16. Oh, sorry, Boy Knockout P17. The Viking Fox will move up to P16. And Parker will come home in P18. And I just want to say a quick shout out to all the drivers out there today. It was a really, really good race. Plenty of overtaking, especially by Deck. As you can see from the positional changes, it was 15. Unfortunately, we just about missed that. But it was 15 positional jumps by Deck, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And there he is. I don't like that celebration, the phone in hand. Blimey, I think we see enough phones as the days go on anyway, without having to put him on the bloody podium as well. Stupid celebration, but never mind. It's fully deserved for Deck today. He was absolutely fabulous. What a driver to watch out on track as well. Can he have an engine ban every race, for goodness sake? That was absolutely brilliant. I wouldn't like to see him start in P1. Because he started in P16 and still ended up P1. You don't want to see him starting P1 every week. You want to see him starting in P8, P20 every week. Brilliant drive from him. That was fantastic to watch. So well done to him. Let's quickly run through the top 10 then. So Deck taking P1 and the fastest lap as well. Bad Boy in P2, Black Panther P3, Warrener P4, Merckx P5, Destroyer Cannon P6, Simon P7, Rusted Bolt P8, Silky Stevens P9, UFRL F1 Viva P10, Woody P11, Bakey Gaming P12, Salty Stevens P13, Poem P14, Wizard Rex P15, and apologies for missing the rest. Quite managed to get all the words in there, of course. But you all know where everyone finished, don't you, blimey? Well, I think everyone will surely agree with me there that Deck is certainly the driver of the day. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. Really, really super performance from him. That was just brilliant, absolutely breathtaking. I'd like to see that again. I could certainly come back and watch that time and time again. That was really, really well done. But I do think, in honour of Poop Cannon 22, we must remember, we sadly lost recently. I will be giving my driver of the day to him in his honour, which hopefully the the guys will announce later on. I'm sure Deck will 100% agree with that. But yeah, Poop Cannon 22 today is my driver of the day. And what a fabulous race in his honor as well. Really, really good show by everyone in Tier 1 tonight. I think you should all be uber proud of yourselves. It was absolutely brilliant. So that's me signing off then for this evening. I've been King Kong 1471. I'd like to thank you all ever so much for joining me once again in what is an absolutely fabulous league in the UFRL family. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and good night.